Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you so much for creating some time and space for us. Something that we would like to discuss today is the idea or the illusion of expectations. And to move into the idea that nobody really is expecting a damn thing from you. Many of us are operating in this space of the need to meet other people's expectations. And usually, for most of us, we are operating from this place of an assumption that somebody is expecting that we meet an expectation of theirs. And again, that is based in an assumption, which means that it is based in an illusion. Now, unless somebody implicitly tells you what it is that they're expecting from you, that's different. A little different, not too much different from what it is that we're talking about, because any expectation is still based in that of an illusion. It's based on a whim. It's based on a want. And whims and wants are not necessarily based in reality. Otherwise, they'd be physically here, manifested. So the idea is many of us are putting ourselves into a tizzy because we're operating in a space of an assumption. And the assumption is that people are expecting us to do this, to do that, which then therefore makes us run around like crazy mad people. I'm expected to do this. I'm expected to meet this person here. I'm expected to people please. I'm expected to do all these things, when in reality, if nobody has really implicitly told you what it is that they are needing from you, needing, not wanting, not expecting, needing, then therefore you are in a space of illusion, and that illusion will keep you running all day long until you burn yourself out, and that's the best case scenario. But again, anybody that is demanding something from you and therefore expecting something from you is crazy. Because really, again, any expectation is based in a demand. And unless somebody is implicitly telling you what it is that they're wanting from you, then you are lost in your own illusion of what it is that you think you will have to do in order to meet their demands and expectations. And if you are not clear on what it is that they're wanting from you, and you are just basing your reality in an assumption from somebody else's viewpoint, then you are never going to be happy, nor will you make that other person happy if that's even what it is that you're after to begin with. But a lot of people think that if I meet this person's expectations, then therefore they will be happy. And then therefore, if they're happy, then they will like me. Or if they're happy, then they'll leave me the hell alone. And that will allow me to be happy. But again, the idea that you have to meet anybody's expectation, meet anybody's demand, is an illusion because you will never meet their demands. If somebody is implicitly telling you what it is that they expect from you, then again, that is also a demand. And why, as a God, are you allowing another God that is equal to you telling you what it is that you need to do? That's crazy. Because unless you agree to it, which is one thing, then why are you allowing somebody to tell you what it is that you need to do in your life in order for them to be happy? Because if you're doing something in order for them to be happy, when do you get to be happy? When do you get to not be expected upon, demanded upon? And therefore you could make your own demands upon yourself if that is what it is that you choose to do. But for many of us, we are running around in this noisy idea of what it is that we think other people are wanting from us. And therefore that creates the idea that they're expecting something from us, which keeps us running around all day long, moving us further away from what it is that we need in the hopes that if they're happy, then we'll be happy. But again, the only person that can make anybody happy, if that's even what it is that they're after, is them. And if somebody has such implicit demands, which are then therefore creating an expectation, and they're telling you that this is what I expect from you, then maybe they should be doing it to begin with. Because if you have so many tedious little things that you're needing from somebody else in order to make it work, nobody else is going to make it work quite like you're going to make it work. And nobody exactly has the vision in which you are holding and therefore disseminating to somebody else for them to make your dream work. It is your dream, it is your expectation, so therefore you should be carrying it out. If you have so many tedious little things that need to be met in order for that expectation to be reached. But again, nobody will ever meet your expectation because an expectation is not based in reality. An expectation is based in an illusion. Now, an expectation becomes real when you move it from an expectation to a goal. But for many people, there is no such thing. It just simply stays in the limbotic space of, well, I expect this from you. Well, that's great that you expect that from me. How the hell am I going to achieve that? Is there a reasonable measure for me to achieve that? Or are you just throwing out your wants, whims, and hoping that somebody is crazy enough to adhere to what it is that you're asking for? Because if you're creating an expectation for me, then that means I have to put my life on hold, my wants, my dreams, my desires on hold to meet your expectation of what it is that you think needs to happen in order for you to be happy, in order for you think whatever it needs to happen for a job to get done. And it is not saying that it is unreasonable to have an expectation, but it is unreasonable for you to have that expectation, not move it into a goal, which enables it to be tangible, and therefore expect other people to meet that expectation for you when you can't even meet that expectation. Because again, if you have that expectation, then why aren't you doing what it is that you were expecting of other people to do for you? Why are you placing upon a demand on somebody else when you as easily can be doing it yourself, when you were the one that had the vision, when you were the one that had the idea to begin with? Usually people put that expectation because they know that it is unrealistic, they know that it is unreachable, and because they don't have the tangibility, the skill set, the knowledge to make it real, they'll give it to somebody else and say, well, this is what I want. I don't know how to actually get it, so you deal with it. You make it happen. You make it real, and you better do it. That is what an expectation is. And any expectation without a plan, which would then therefore be the goal, and a goal is we are going to get to A to B this way with X amount of time involved, with different measures to see if we're actually on the trajectory to get it done. Many people that place expectations on people don't have a logical formulated plan. And because they don't have a logical formulated plan, they just have this abstract thought, which is an expectation. It literally falls to the wayside, or it falls on the other individual that they're throwing that expectation to. And because it falls to the other individual that they're placing that expectation upon, that other individual always falls short. Because again, if that other individual could have really done something with their expectation themselves, they would have made it into a goal and did it themselves. As opposed to having this grandiose idea, then giving it to you so that hopefully you can nurture it so that it forms legs and a body and a breathing system, so that then therefore you could give it back to them and say, look at what it is that I did for you. But usually when you give into somebody's expectation and try to adhere to that and deliver on what it is that you think they expected, it is very rare that you actually deliver in a way that that person that placed that expectation on you wanted. They will give you that expectation. You will take it with open arms. You will nurture it. You will feed it. You allow it to grow in you, just like a beautiful mother, allowing that baby to grow, that birthing process of that idea to form into something that's real, manifested, something that, again, the person that placed that expectation on you could not do. But therefore you were doing it, you were nurturing it, you were allowing it to come into life itself, and then you hand over that baby to that person that placed that expectation on you, and they look at that baby and say, what the fuck is this? We didn't want a baby. We wanted the idea of a baby. We wanted the CAT scan of the baby. We didn't want the actual baby. And also, this baby's missing hair. How come this baby doesn't have hair? How come this baby isn't walking yet? What is this? This is not what I wanted. Take it back. Work on it some more. But again, work on it some more is not any goal objective. There's no tangible ideas in how to work on it some more. It is just work on it until you meet my dream of what it is that I thought I saw in my head. But again, I can't create it in real tangible form. That's for you to do because I can't figure that out. So the idea of meeting somebody's expectation will, if it hasn't already, drive you into insanity. Because again, an expectation is very unrealistic. Even the expectations that you put on yourself, they become very unrealistic. Because anything is unrealistic if there's no clear-cut formulated plan to get from A to B. An expectation is just a grandiose idea in the abstract without pulling it forth into the physical. How do we make an expectation tangible enhance our communication on what it is that you're really expecting, so that expectation becomes less foggy, less incoherent, and more tangible, more real, more realistic, more of an A to B. This is how we know that we're getting somewhere, and this is how we know what the end product is going to look like, as opposed to, I expect, I demand, and then when you finally give it back to them, what the hell is this? We didn't want this. And that's not always what happens in expectations. Sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised. Sometimes you will meet their demands and expectations. But that is rare to find. That is far and few between. And again, usually you will just be running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to figure out how you could meet somebody else's demand without really actually getting anywhere. And it causes you to be exhausted because you put all your energy, your love, your kindness, your care into an idea that somebody else had, and it never really actually meets the fundamental idea of what it is that that person placed upon you to begin with, which causes you to be anxious, which causes you to overperform, which causes you to be in a state of chaos and disillusionment and an illusion. They say that anxiety is this idea that you're projecting into the future. But for many of us, we are grounded in our personality lens. And the personality lens is a grounding in the past. It is the lens of the past. It is an over-identification with our story. So if only our anxiety could put us in touch with the future, because then we could see that this expectation is not ever going to be met. The anxiety amplifies your picture, your fear of the past, and therefore it doesn't even allow you to see clearly and see that this expectation that somebody is demanding on you will never be met. It allows you to keep on convoluting yourself and assuming that, well, maybe if I do it like this, and maybe if I do it like that, and maybe if I stand on my head, and maybe if I sing a song. Do all those things. It won't matter, because you still won't achieve the expectation that somebody is putting upon you. And it puts you farther away from the God force, the universal principality that you are. It allows somebody to have a control over you because they keep on getting to tell you that you're doing something wrong. And who the hell are they to tell you that you are doing something wrong when they could not even come up with a tangible plan to make their idea form legs and work to begin with? So it is truly crazy making. This idea that you could allow somebody to put an expectation on you and then actually move forward and try and do that thing. Because again, it takes away from all it is that you are. So nobody really expects anything from you because they don't even know what it is that they're looking for to begin with. And if they did, then it wouldn't be an expectation. It would be a plan. It would be a goal. And they would be doing it themselves. Now, there is such a thing called outsourcing. There is such a thing as, well, I have a big business, and therefore it's important for me to depend on my employees and fellow co-workers to be able to execute the plan. But again, I said plan, not expectation. Expectation is just a whim, not me sitting down with my team and saying, listen, I have an expectation and I'd like to make it a little bit more tangible and put it into a goal format. So let me hear from all the Godheads in this room how we can do that together. Because if I had an idea, then it wouldn't be an expectation. It would be a plan, and I'd be doing it myself and just sending out an email saying it's done. Look at this. Look at this goal that I just achieved. Isn't that fantastic? So stop running around like chickens with your head cut off. You are gods. Please take that into consideration next time somebody places an expectation on you. You do not need to meet anybody's whims unless you want to. But again, that's you wanting to, which means that you are choosing to step down off of your pedestal as a godhead and become much more inferior, which is human. And you're not human unless you want to be. You are God. You are universal principle. You are so much more than a human. You created this place, this earth that we live in. The earth does not exist, and therefore you exist. The earth exists because you put it here, not through an expectation, but through a plan. Even with half of the remembrance of all it is that you are, there was still a plan to put this place here as you are falling in density, all six of you, all six universal principalities. And you were able to do that not because you expected that this planet was going to catch you in your fallen density. You planned as you were falling. Well, hell, in order for us to not fall, let us all talk amongst each other as we're falling. What will work? What will not work? Not because I expect that one of you will do something for me that I cannot do for myself, but because as we talk, it becomes more tangible and it becomes more goal-oriented, and because we're all on the same page, we can create something all together that actually works, as opposed to me just giving you an idea and hoping that you somehow figure it out for me when I couldn't figure it out for myself. So, don't feed into anybody's expectations. Don't feed into your own expectations. Make it more resounding. Make it more true. Make it more concrete. We're in a physicality world. We are in third density. So your whims don't really work here. Your expectations don't really work here. The only thing that works is action. The only thing that works, then, therefore, would be a plan and a goal and an objective in which we go from A to B. And all those spaces in between are checkpoints to make sure that we're still on the path to get from A to B. But not, well, I have this idea, and here you go, you figure it out for me. Because that universal principality will spend the rest of their lives trying to figure out what it is that you should figure out for yourself, that you could figure out for yourself. If you just change that expectation into something that's real and tangible, put a plan on it, and therefore it becomes a goal. And it becomes something that can actually happen as opposed to a proposed idea. So, before you start running around, see if you're willing to meet somebody's expectation. See if you want to not necessarily make it an expectation, but make it more of a goal so that you could actually get somewhere with it. Or if you just want to continue running around like a chaotic principality that has forgotten itself, then keep on trying to meet everybody's expectations and falling short, because you will never meet their expectations because they don't even know what it is that they're looking for to begin with. So, that is a lot. We don't expect you to agree or even maybe understand what it is that we're talking about, but if you do, then kudos to you. We hope that you now feel like you can make a more informed choice as opposed to meeting somebody's expectation, as opposed to reintegrating with a plan and asking them with a more cohesive idea of how all of us could make it work, as opposed to you putting something that's unrealistic upon me and thinking that I can do that. But if not, that's okay too. We know that you know what it is that you're doing, even if you don't know it yet. So as always, we thank you for making space and time for us. And we wish you well in your journey of meeting other people's whims and expectations, and hopefully pulling that into something that's a little bit more tangible, like a goal. Well wishes.